What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package, and infrastructure update and daily news report. We actually have some very good news that's coming out today. Some of it is regarding the infrastructure bill, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package that many lawmakers are trying to push through. We got good information regarding the CPI data that came out this morning, so I'm going to address all of that in just a second. First, I just want to say, hopefully you guys are having a great day. Your week's going incredible. But if you could, and you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. Now, let's get into the update. First, we know right now that Senator Joe Manchin is one of the biggest hurdles within the Senate. He's also making it harder for the House of Representatives to get a bill done because as of right now, and even in the past, Senator Joe Manchin has been kind of advising House moderates how to negotiate and deal with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. It's turning into a little bit of an issue. However, even though Senator Joe Manchin is one of the bigger hurdles, currently, Kyrsten Sinema has mentioned that her objections are not all the same as what Senator Joe Manchin is saying. So now, and again, for the past month or so, many reports where Joe Manchin is saying this, Kyrsten Sinema and other moderates are kind of just following along. Well, that's not what the reports are now. According to the new reports, Kyrsten Sinema has her own demands. Kyrsten Sinema opposes this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill for other reasons. However, she is going to do her due diligence. She's going to make sure that what is passed in this bill is exactly what she believes the American people need and the economy needs as well. So the hard part here is the Senate or Democrats are trying to do whatever they can to give to Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema and to other moderates without alienating the other Democrats in the House and the Senate. That's turning into a big issue. What we do know, and this is part of the good news, is Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, both of them are in favor of extending the child tax credit payments. This is one of those things that, according to many reports, President Biden is pushing, and this is one of those things that has to be included into this next bill. Whether it's for 4 years or 2 years, the reports don't indicate, but the reports are indicating that he is pushing for this. Well, just the other day, we did see that the Ways and Means Committee officially pushed this and to establish this for another 4 years, so until 2025. That's part of the good news. The other good news, and again, we're probably going to see changes here. As of right now, we don't see them yet. But here's what we know. This child tax credit payment extension for an additional 4 years, it's not going to change as to who qualifies. Not yet. It's going to be any child between 0 and 5 gets a $300 per month child tax credit payment. Any child between the ages of 6 and 17 gets $250 per month. That doesn't change. The income eligibility for parents, for the guardians, that doesn't change as well. If you are single, you make up to $150,000 per year, you still qualify for the full benefit. If you are a family, right, you are a couple, you can make up to $400,000 per year. So those income limitations are still there, but we don't know, will there be a requirement to work for continuing education? I addressed this yesterday. It's possible, but we will see. But let's get into the CPI data that came out this morning. And this is actually very good news. The month-over-month data rose. The month-over-month inflation, it rose 0.3%. This means year over year, we're at 5.3%. The expectation was we would rise 0.4%. So we actually beat that expectation by 0.1%. That is actually good news. But here's the bad news. In order to really see deflation, in order to really see we are going back to normal, going back to that 2 to 3% year over year inflation number, in order to see that, we need to be in the 4% range. So we need to beat this next one, and we need to get to 4.9, 4.8%. That would be a good beat, but right now we're not there. New vehicles, they did continue to rise by 1.2%, But this rise is actually slowing. I believe in July, okay? I believe in July, the CPI data came in and we saw new vehicles increase by, I think, 1.7%. So even though they're continuing to rise, they're not rising so rapidly. And that's part of the good news, is that we're not seeing runaway inflation. Well, that helps for the upcoming infrastructure and stimulus bills. We also saw used cars and trucks decline by 1.5%. Airline fares decreased by 9.1% month over month. This isn't year over year, this is month over month. And we knew this was going to happen. And this happens all the time because people are not traveling as much. So prices go down. People are worried about the Delta variant. Well, they didn't travel as much. Well, prices went down. So we saw in June, July, prices were going crazy, but it's because more people were traveling during those times. And when the demand it exceeds the supply, that's where prices really start to surge. So we're starting to see that the supply right now is exceeding demand, which is bringing prices back down. This is good news. Lodging also dropped by 3.3% month over month. Rents only increased by 0.3% though. And I thought this was interesting because everyone's saying rents are going up, they're gonna go to the moon. Well, by 0.3%, that's not going to the moon. So that's actually some pretty good news there. What I can tell you though, is we are still seeing rents go up. In some areas, major cities, they're actually going up much higher than 0.3%, but it's averaged 0.3%. So just keep that in mind. Now, the CPI data that we just went over, this is actually very good news for the upcoming infrastructure package. And I say this because Senator Bernie Sanders has been telling Senator Joe Manchin that, what are you talking about? Why should we have a strategic pause on our infrastructure plan when we're not seeing runaway inflation? Bernie Sanders says nobody's talking about inflation. Nobody's talking about it, so why are you so worried about it? Well, the CPI data this morning confirms that. We're not seeing runaway inflation. If we did, we would have seen that not 0.3% increase, we would have seen 0.5, 0.6, 0.7%. We're not seeing that. So that's good news. The thing right now, though, that we need to see, again, we're not seeing a huge drop either. So kind of across the board, all we're seeing is stabilization. Things are just stabilizing. That's fine. That is fine. That is temporary. And in this time when everyone was saying inflation is transitory, that's what we're going to see. It went up, went up, went up. Now we're trying to see it stabilize, and then hopefully it will come back down. If it just went up and down, then the chances of going up, down, and up again are much higher. But if it goes, see inflation go up, it stabilizes and then drops back down. We see deflation. That's actually very good. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see these big spikes in inflation going up and down. That's tough to stomach. So what I can tell you is that the next CPI data, the next release, is going to be on October 13th. I promise I will be here to do another update on that as well. I will obviously be doing updates in between that as well over the next month. But I hope, again, I hope we are not still addressing the infrastructure package on October 13th in about a month. I hope that is not the case. But here's what I know. Right now, the information that we got from this report is good. Because, or at least for progressives that want to see more stimulus to the American people. For progressives that want, stimulus checks. This is good. This is a good report. For progressives that want, immigration. They want Medicare, right? They want to expand all these things, expand the child tax credits. This is good. For those that want to provide more assistance for child care, elder care, and education, this report was good. Now, for those that want to provide less to the American people, that are hoping that things are starting to go up, right? We're seeing inflation running away. This isn't good. Moderates in the House and the Senate, Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, Josh Gottheimer, for people like that who were going to use this report as leverage as to why we should spend less than $3.5 trillion. This report was not great. This report is going to hurt them. So I don't know what side you're on, but what I can tell you is the expectation as of right now, again, the report came out about 2 hours ago. So the expectation right now is that yes, we are going to see a bill closer to $3.5 trillion. It will not be $1.5 trillion. If we do see something that's less than $3.5 trillion, it's going to be between $2.5 and $3 trillion. Okay? So expectation is we're going to see something close to that $3 trillion range. Possibly, okay, just possibly, it's going to be about $2.8 to $3.3 trillion. That is what the expectation is as of this morning. So we'll see what happens there. We do, as of this morning, have a group of Senate Democrats who are introducing a new bill on reform as well. This new bill, it's going to be a tough bill to pass because they've already tried to do this. However, the reason why it's going to be tough is because it needs at least 10 Republican votes. It needs all 60. Okay, it needs 60 votes. Cannot have 50, cannot have 51. It has to have 60. It has to pass the filibuster. But many don't believe they're going to be able to do that. However, some say they could get there. I don't know how they're going to get there, but some say they could get there. We will see how. One thing that I can tell you, though, is that if Democrats go and push this reform bill in front of Republicans, be like, hey, could we get your help on this? Republicans could be like, well, yes, you can get our help on that. However, lower that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. It needs to be less. We also know moderates, okay, because the reform bill is something that Senator Joe Manchin pushed a few months back. But what we could see is moderates be like, hey, or just Democrats and progressives be like, hey, Joe Manchin, we will help you pass this reform bill that you were working on, but at the same time, you got to help us get to this $3.5 trillion number. Do we have your support here? If you do, we will support you here. If not, then it's pretty much going to go nowhere. We'll see what happens there. But here's what we know that this bill is going to do. This bill is going to make today a federal holiday to encourage voting. A lot of people don't go and vote because, well, I don't have a day off of work. I can't. I didn't remember until the last day. Well, if a federal holiday, if there's a federal holiday, well, oh, we don't work today. I wonder why. Oh, it's a federal holiday because it's voting day today. Oh, maybe I should go vote. Yeah, possibly. Each state would also have an automatic voter registration system, and this bill would set basic national standards for all states to follow. And that's what they're trying to do, is make sure every single state is on the same page, basic standards, okay? Nobody's doing anything different, whether it's a Republican state or a Democratic state, everything's just set the same. However, it cannot be set the same to benefit Democrats. It cannot be set the same to just benefit Republicans. It just has to be set the same where every single party has the same benefits. That's going to be the hard part to try to get through because Democrats don't want to give Republicans any additional benefits. Republicans don't want to give Democrats any leverage either. Makes sense. So we'll see what happens there. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys on the next one. See you guys.